Hello and thank you for joining us right here on Luntha Television. It's time for news. Enjoy with me, Jacqueline Saidi. First, the headlines. Pope Francis to sign human fraternity document with Nobel relics in St. Peter's Square. Central Portrait Limited shifts blame to insurance company over unpaid injury compensation claims by former employee. Governments yet to provide 750 million kwacha for refugees relocation exercise as over 1,700 have been rounded. And in other news, Nigeria's union calls off nationwide June 7th strike over removal of fuel subsidies plans. We have these and more stories. Stay with us. Number Reds, Grammy winner Andrea Bocelli and several former heads of state will join Pope Francis in St. Peter's Square on Saturday night for the World Meeting on Human Fraternity. The June 10th event, called Not Alone, will culminate with Pope Francis signing a document calling for a commitment to human fraternity drafted by a dozen Nobel Peace Prize winners, together with representatives of former Nobel Prize winning organizations. Young people representing different countries will also form a symbolic embrace by joining hands in a ring around St. Peter's Square. Vincent Kokwara reading a Vatican News report.
Cardinal Mauro Gambit, the Archpriest of St. Peter's Basilica, described the upcoming meeting as a great day of celebration and unity, inspired by Pope Francis' encyclical Fratelli Tutti, transcending a vision that restricts social friendship to ethnical or blood ties. Speaking at a Vatican press conference promoting the event, Jesuit Father Francisco Ocheta, the head of the Fratelli Tutti Foundation, noted that the participants in the event will be given as a gift a piece of organic soil and seeds to plant and germinate as a symbol of the commitment to guard the fraternity. Nobel laureates who have confirmed their participation in the World Meeting on the Human Fraternity include Iran human rights advocate Nadia Murad, Congolese gynecologist Denis Mukwege, and Arab Yemen Spring leader Tawako Kaman. The former presidents of Colombia, Costa Rica, Poland, and Democratic Republic of East Timor, all Peace Prize winners, will also participate, as well as representatives of several UN organizations that have been past participants. The World Meeting on Human Fraternity will begin with private meetings of 5 working groups representing Nobel laureates, the poor, the environmentalists, students, and associations. Pope Francis will join the event 2 hours later to listen to what emerged in the working group discussions, sign the Human Fraternity document, and join the symbolic embrace. Later, the Seekers performers and street artists will take the stage in the St. Peter's Square.
Sheriffs stormed Central Portrait Malawi 2000 Limited CPL earlier today and forced the company to pay 1,023,019 kwacha compensation claims to the company's former employee Joseph Kakwesi. The sheriffs went to CPL's head office at Force in Lilongwe to execute a court order on the matter. However, the company's managing director told us that the employee got injured while on duty and the company did a medical assessment which was submitted to CIC Insurance Company, which did not remit the compensation. We have a report by Robert Edward.
According to the warrant stamped 5 June, the sheriffs of Malawi were supposed to collect 688,713 kwacha and 3 tambara from Central Portal 2000 Limited for the compensation to Joseph Kakwesi, a plaintiff in the case and a former employee of the company. However, due to other costs charged by the sheriffs and court fees, the amount collected at the Central Portal head office in Lilongwe by the sheriffs amounted to 1,023,019 kwacha, according to one of the sheriffs who could not be named. Speaking to managing director of the company, Kasmani Yassini, Kakwesi demanded compensation for injuries while on duty, and CPL 2000 Limited did the medical assessment and the documentation was submitted to the insurance company, but the company CIC Insurance did not remit the compensation. He, however, confirmed that the money has been paid to the sheriffs and that the company will now claim the money from the insurance company. For Luntha, this is Robert Edward.
The Catholic Commission for Justice and Peace, CCJP, has expressed fear over smallholder farmers' income amid revocation of crop export licenses, which government enforced in May this year. CCJP National Coordinator Boniface Chibwana says the revocation was based on one side of protecting smuggling of crops to ensure food security for the country without further looking at the impact on farmers who expect good prices on their commodities. He has therefore called on government to provide alternatives on how to bail out such farmers who are currently in tears amid low prices of selling their crop produce at ADMEC, as ADMEC is nowhere to be seen. We have a report by Bernard Mwanza.
Recently, government through the Ministry of Trade and Industry revoked guarding the country's food security. However, according to the Catholic Commission for Justice and Peace, CCJP, the move was a disregard on the side of smallholder farmers who see such exports as a breakthrough since government
trend continues. The poor people will continue
so that everyone fulfills the new requirements of registering with the Malawi Revenue Authority MRA on customs-controlled export warehouses and the CDI forms by the Reserve Bank. She said the ministry wants to ensure that foreign exchange comes into the country, adding that most people have not been bringing forex from the smuggled commodities. Different stakeholders such as the police, immigration, Malawi Revenue Authority, Cultural Development and Marketing Corporation ADMAC, is reported to have opened some of its markets, mainly focusing in purchasing beans and soya. As of May this year, the grain trader was yet to be given money from the 2023-2024 national budget for maize purchase, as government was reportedly not yet decided on the institution to purchase the commodity between ADMAC and the National Food Reserve Agency, NFRA. For Luntha News, I am Bernard Mwanza.
The Malawi National Examinations Board has set 28th to 30th of June as the days that it will administer Tandiwe Nzumara.
The statement further indicates that schools that were affected by the corrupt administrators who swindled students' money, making them miss their examinations, have the chance to have the affected students write their examinations, provided they notify the board by the end of business on the 7th of June. This follows the concern that students in some primary schools did not write their examinations as they did not have identity cards, which was later revealed that their fees were swindled by some administrator who were trusted to deposit the money through e-payment, as was the money procedure this year. Speaking to Luntha Television, Ministry of Education spokesperson Mphatso Mkuonera said the ministry is doing its best to accommodate every student in the education system, and since the students were not in the wrong in missing the examinations, they have been given the opportunity to write them. He also said investigations are underway to have the suspects apprehended.
So whenever such kind of an initiative has been done, the main idea behind, the main objective is to make sure that there is no disruption in the achievement, in the journey to achieve the Malawi 2063 vision, where human development falls under the Ministry of Education as one of the key enablers. So we want to make sure that no one is left behind.
School authorities whose students were affected are supposed to provide details on candidates, center name and number, and the district name to the executive director of MANEB. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Tandiwe Msumara.
Remember, you're still watching news on Luntha Television, coming to you live from Bishop Navy Media Center. Stay there, we'll be back after the break.
From personal growth to business solutions, there is no limit to what you can imagine. It's time to reimagine banking. Centenary Bank, our bank.
Welcome back. Moving forward, the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs is reported to have not yet funded the relocation exercise of refugees and asylum seekers who are residing outside Dzaleka refugee camp in Doha. According to Minister of Homeland Security Kenzi Kalingoma, the ministry has so far utilized about 16 million kwacha from its budget allocation, which has helped in purchasing fuel for vehicles being used in the exercise while waiting for the 750 million kwacha which it requested from the Ministry of Finance. The minister made the remarks on Monday in Lilongwe when he updated Malawians on the progress of the exercise, which he said is getting into an extra gear. Bernard Mwanza reports.
Minister of Homeland Security Ken that was available only paid for fuel while waiting for the Ministry of Finance.
They're going back to communities. I don't think those are asylum seekers. I wouldn't describe them as asylum seekers, but criminals. And if we find them in the communities, then we'll take them straight to the prison. We'll take them straight to Zarega, to our prisons, because they are not abiding to the laws.
The minister also took time to state that authorities are failing to identify over 53,000 illegal immigrants in the country, but promised that they will do everything possible to ensure that they are located as the situation is dangerous for Malawi. Meanwhile, the ministry has announced government's plans of opening a new refugee camp in Chitipa district where all refugees will be taken to. Ngoma said this will also ensure proper screening of refugees and asylum seekers before getting into the country. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, I am Bernard Mwanza.
The Center for Democracy and Economic Development Initiatives, CDD, has urged authorities to work towards getting a reduction of sugar prices, which are way higher compared to neighboring countries. The call has come as there are reports that a loaf of sugar is against government's decision to allow other players to come into the country for sugar trading. Speaking at a press briefing today, CDD Executive Director Sylvester Namiwa said Malawians are being robbed of are being robbed on sugar, as the sugar companies in the country are making huge profits on the product, which is currently selling at 1,500 kwacha per kilogram. Namiwa further indicated that CDD has written the Public Accounts Committee, Park of Parliament, and the Parliamentary Committee on Trade and Industry to immediately conduct a public inquiry on sugar production and pricing in the country. We have more on this report, which is being read by Vincent Pogwala.
According to Sylvester Namiwa, a survey that CIDED conducted on the prices of sugar revealed that in Zambia, a kilogram of sugar is sitting at a minimum of 90 cents, approximately 924 kwacha, 60 tambala. In Mozambique, it is sitting at 46 cents, an equivalent of 472 kwacha, 58 tambala. While in Tanzania, a kilogram of the commodity is sitting at 45 cents, approximately 465 kwacha, 42 tambala. This prompted the Center to write the Public Accounts Committee, Park of Parliament, and the Parliamentary Committee on Trade and Industry to immediately conduct a public inquiry on sugar production and pricing in the country. CIDED is demanding an immediate action from the government on the issue, saying Malawians are being robbed from the sugar prices.
Kafukufu amene tachita akuonesa kuti 1 kilogram ya sugar ku Zambia akuigulisa 924 kwacha. Sugar yemweyo mukapita ku Mozambique akumugulisa 472 kwacha. Mukapita ku Tanzania 1 kilo akugulisa 465 kwacha. Awa ndi mayiko amene atizungulira. Ndiyefunso kumanena kuti ndifukwa chani ku Malawi kunoko tikulipira ndalama zambiri kuti tigule sugar. Ndipo peza kuti zikondo ndi malamulo ndifake talembera kalata komiti ya nyumba ya malamulo yonkesera chuma cha boma komanso komiti ija imene imaona za ntchito za mafactory ndi malonda kunena kuti aitanise anthu onse amene akukhuzidwa mu nkhani za sugar Malawi muno komanso adindo kuti akafotokoze kuti ndifukwa chani mayiko onse amene atizungulira sugar ndi ochipa kuno ku Malawi kuno ndi okwera mtengo. Chinthu chachiwiri ngati lili lamulo kuti lamulo limene likutumikira ndani akaswiritu pa nkhani ya ulamulo wabwino amanena kuti lamulo lililonse limene likupsinja anthu ndi lamulo loyipa, anthu ameneka kuti alikonze ngati salikonza anthu alikane. Ndiye tikufunsa kuti kodi Malawi Revenue Authority unduna wa zachuma mmene mmapanga mgwirizano imene ndi makampani opanga sugar mmati zimene zikomere yani.
Namiwa further observed that in other countries, governments formulate laws and regulations that protect the raw income earners from exploitation, while on the other hand promoting competition as opposed to shielding monopolies. He called on the Malawi Revenue Authority and the Ministry of Finance and other relevant government authorities to be transparent by justifying the current tax arrangement and the motivation behind the same. He has since noted that CIDED will not rest until sugar prices fall.
At least 300 farmers from Sub-Traditional Authority Pimbi in Balanga District have benefited from the Revive School of Ministry through Church's action. The farmers have been graced with farm inputs, including seeds and fertilizers, meant to push the farmers through winter irrigation farming as they were affected by Cyclone Freddy, where they lost all their crops. Representative of the ministry, Tom Shafar, said the donation is a blessing that the ministry thought of sharing with the community of Balaka district, where they are holding prayers for the country. We have more on this report by Rashida Matandika.
Over 1,000 farmers were affected when Cyclone Freddy destroyed fields in the areas of Sub-Traditional Authority Pimbi in Balaka district, and the effects remain as the affected families are now experiencing hunger. Speaking after receiving the support on behalf of all beneficiaries, Ephraim Kantedza said the help is timely as it is what Pimbi farmers need to go into winter irrigation farming so that they can produce what they failed to during the rain-fed farming.
Pokhala kudera loti ndikovuta ndi macyclone kumasong'amba tikanakonda kuti anthu abwere ochuluka kwambiri akadiwa atenge chitsanzo cha bungwe la kadi abwere adzatithandize ndi zipangizo za ulimi wonthirira komanso upangiri wawo kuti kunoko tikhazike kwambiri pa ulimi wonthirira.
Pastor Tom Schiffer of Revive School of Ministry said the donation is part of the ministry's activities in reviving lives, knowing that to get the fruits of the human spirit, their bodies need to be nourished as well. Pastor Shifa said there is a great connection between the charity part and their ministering as God's stewards.
The connection is the fact that we are stewards. We don't own the land, it's God's. We don't own us, we're God's. And as stewards of soul and soil, we get the opportunity to actually live into everything that God has done. And so we're sowing into the soil of the ground, but also the soil of the soul.
Executive Director of GAD, Milton Luhanga, while acknowledging the harm that Cyclone Freddy left on their farmers in the area, commended Revive School of Ministry for the farm inputs and expressed hope that the materials will change lives. Luhanga said GAD's extension workers will continue to help the farmers utilize the resources in all angles so that they produce enough, from nutrition aspects to producing enough to sell to meet their daily needs. He has also called on the farmers to take advantage of the resources as they have come as a blessing in time of need.
My message is to all that are receiving the goods today, please take advantage of these utilities and take advantage of the fertilizer and the seed that has been given to you. And also to those that might not have received, they still have to have hope. Someday, one of the people will still reach them out.
Each farmer has received 2 kgs of maize seed and 5 kgs of top dressing fertilizer, which they will have to use in making bear manure, which has been recommended by the District Agriculture Office as being influential in crop production. Meanwhile, the farmers are requesting for more winter irrigation inputs so that they can produce more before the rainy season comes. For Luntha TV, this is Rashida Matandika reporting.
Lastly, in international news, Nigeria's main trade union movement has suspended its call for a nationwide strike, which was scheduled for Wednesday to protest against a sharp increase in the price of fuel following the government's decision to stop subsidizing it. After an hours-long meeting with the government, Nigeria Labour Congress President Joe Ajero said the decision had been taken to give more time for negotiations. The court has ordered unions to desist from industrial action until an application filed by the government is heard on 19th June. Bridget Monoka reading a BBC report.
An increase in the minimum wage and tax holidays for workers are some of the demands organized labor is making to cushion the effects of the removal of the fuel subsidy. Last Wednesday, fuel marketers increased but did not give a date. Within hours of Mr. Tinubu's first address, hundreds of people had poured onto the streets, either in their cars or on foot, with yellow jerry cans to grab what they believed to be the last drops of fuel to be sold at a government fixed price. Despite its oil riches, Nigeria is unable to refine crude locally to meet demands. The 4 state-owned refineries are moribund, forcing the country to import refined petroleum products, which are then sold at a price fixed by the government.
Well, that also concludes our news reports, but before we go, let's have another look at the headlines. Pope Francis to sign human fraternity document with noble relics in St. Peter's Square. Central Portrait Limited shifts blame to insurance company over unpaid injury compensation claims by former employee. Governments yet to provide 750 million kwacha for refugees relocation exercise as over 1,700 has been rounded. And in other news, Nigeria's union calls off nationwide June 7th strike over removal of fuel subsidies planned. My name is Jacqueline Saidi. Thank you very much for watching Luntha Television and stay safe.